Folks, our Nintendo Switch Game Awards go down today, and you do not want to miss it. Welcome to the Mario Matter, your favorite Nintendo podcast with your host, Nintendo YouTuber EmSwizzle. And before we get to all of our Nintendo news, which involves Nintendo announcing a new alarm clock, might be overpriced, we'll talk about it, Mario and Luigi news, before we get to the awards segment, and before the Q&A segment, our guest today needs no introduction. Probably our most requested guest of all time. Our guest today, folks, is Scott the Woz. Where do you start with the man? Gaming YouTuber with a pretty big focus on Nintendo. He's funny, he's the man. We talked to him today. Without wasting your time, anyone's time, let's go ahead, meet Scott, talk to him, and get into all of our Nintendo news. To begin this podcast, let's get to it.
Welcome to the Mario Matter, the #1 Nintendo podcast.
Scott the Woz, welcome to the show. How's it going?
It's going okay. Thank you for having me. I got up at 4:50 in the morning today, so I need a little bit of coffee, but I'm doing okay. How about you?
Goes good over here. That's a bit of an early one. 4:50. Why the 4:50? Why not like 5? Come on now.
Oh, I need to leave at 5.
Oh.
I need to help my girlfriend out with something. Yeah. The past 3 days, I have been waking up a little early, which does feel pretty good. But, we all fall back into our little sinkholes of sleeping in eventually. So we'll see how long this lasts.
Well, listen, Scott, you talk about waking up early. Our first little piece of news to dive into here during the news segment has to do a lot with waking up at certain times, maybe even early. I'm going to read this piece of news, all the details, then I'll grab your thoughts here. Our first piece of news that might help Scott wake up earlier than 4:50 here is Nintendo has revealed a new alarm clock titled Alarmo. Now, this is random. People are hoping for Switch too. We get an alarm clock. It's classic Nintendo fashion. Whatever. This is a weird piece of hardware, but I'm kind of into it. So it works as an alarm clock, but it wakes you up with Nintendo characters and sounds and things of that nature. It's got a built-in sensor, so it knows when you move during your sleep. It can track, overnight when you move during your sleep, that kind of stuff. It's cool in that way. There's 5 different themes to customize it with. You can have a Mario Odyssey themed alarm clock, a Pikmin 4 themed alarm clock, Splatoon 3, Ring Fit Adventure, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Mario Kart and Animal Crossing New Horizons. Those last 2 are to come later through updates, and it's got other features too, like it rings every hour, it makes relaxing game sounds to put you to bed. All of this said, as cool as this sounds, this alarm clock, Scott, is $100, okay? This whole thing, everything here, give me your spiel. Are we buying this alarm clock? Are we even using it? Let me know.
Firstly, that was pretty sick. I didn't plan my early rise today to really tie into any of this stuff. That was pretty cool. Secondly, I saw the trailer for this appear in my subscription box. I have had the most boring, busy week of my life. I watched this trailer in the parking lot of a Valvoline getting my oil changed. It's not been a very interesting week, but I did see this. I've been seeing some reactions online. People seem to be clowning on this a little bit, and I'm kind of like, I don't really care, but at the same time, like, I don't think it's like that out of left field. If you've been following Nintendo for a while, during like the Wii U era, Wada was talking about like a quality of life product, kind of moving into quality of life stuff. And I believe they already talked about wanting to do sleep stuff. And I think like, we saw Pokemon Sleep and the sort. That could have been kind of like, oh, that's what that became. It's obvious. I think I saw like an interview with one of the Nintendo producers, and they said the reason why they did this alarm clock pretty much came down to the fact that like they already did the R&D, or like they already kind of researched some of this stuff, so they were like, So like I don't view this as anything more than just like Nintendo's just being Nintendo, and I kind of like that about it. That's what makes Nintendo interesting. Now, is this like the most useful thing in the world? No. Like it's expensive. I also think this is gonna make me hate all these video game soundtracks and sound effects.
Yes.
When I use the basic iPhone alarm, and the default alarm sound effect is used in so many movies and TV shows, and when I hear that thing, I get this little rush of anxiety, and I hate it. It reminds me of waking up. And I do find, like, the fact that it's limited to only 5 Nintendo Switch games in particular, and then it's weird that Mario Kart and Animal Crossing, like, aren't ready, I guess. In addition to, like, I don't know, I think it would have been cool if we had, like, different generations of all different kinds of generations of Nintendo stuff. I mean, you could go all the way back to, like, the NES and SNES, N64. You could have, like, all these different eras of game music. But at the end of the day, I think it's kind of quirky and cute. I don't think it's necessary at all, but I don't think Nintendo cares that much. I think this is like one of their fun little projects that they were just like, let's just do, like, oh, we just want to make this. And I think it's interesting. I don't see anything to be that upset about here. It's just like whatever. They do stuff like this all the time. Whatever, Labo, they did the whole, like, I think Nintendo's developers specifically developed, like, a Mario toy at Nintendo World at Universal Studios. And, like, if you look at this alarm clock, like, it's taking away resources from Switch or Switch 2 or something, I'm just like,
yeah.
It's just, they were going to do this regardless. They just do what they want there. So, I mean, it's quirky. It's very Nintendo.
For sure. The first thing that I thought of was, like, it is very Nintendo. I like it, even though, like you, I just use, I don't use the basic iPhone ringtone. I think I use the Uplift one. Are you familiar with that? It's like a very nice...
I do think I've heard that. There is one I heard recently that just hurt my, like, there was, I don't even know what it was. I went through a couple of them, and I'm just like, there was one that just sent chills down my spine, but I kind of just go with whatever the default is. But I think I've heard of the Uplift one too, yeah.
Uplift is nice. It, like, wakes you up nice, but this is cool. And honestly, $100, when I saw this reveal, I was like, this is cool. It's not Switch 2, but it's new hardware. It's cool. I do Nintendo podcasts. I do this Nintendo stuff. I was like, you know what? I'll buy it. Why not? So I go to the page, and I'm expecting this thing to be like $50 maybe. And I see it's 100, and I had to, like, pause for a second, and I was like, oh boy, wait, do I actually buy this? I don't know. But I think I will give it a shot for a couple of weeks. And I think, as you were saying, if I hate it, like if the sounds become annoying, if I just can't listen to the sound of Mario hitting a question block when I wake up, then I'll probably never use it again, unfortunately. But are you buying this? Have you bought it?
No.
Okay.
I might buy it as, like, a fun little quirky thing to, like, talk about in videos or as a collectible, like, a little later down the line. Mm-hmm. I think that's just the thing. I think it's cute, but it's also like, I know I'm not gonna use it. I'd use it for like a day, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. Or I kind of go through all the themes. I'm like, oh, okay, but like, yeah, unfortunately, not really my thing. But as a little Nintendo freak, I might partake a little bit. We'll see. It's kind of like one of those. Like, I didn't go out of my way to get it. Well, you have to be a My Nintendo user / go to like the New York store.
Yeah.
To get it now, and then like, what is it gonna become more readily available in like 2025? You know what they're probably doing? They're probably doing this as like a little like tester to see if like people actually like it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like they're probably always like, again, like I don't think Nintendo cares that much about this. Like they're just kind of going like, we developed this, so we don't really care. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'm not upset about it.
I'm not sure what like the people who have it. I'm not sure like what their thoughts are yet, because I've wanted to avoid everything until I get mine in 3 to 9 business days. But that's going to be interesting. We're going to see what happens. Maybe we pick it up down the line. Next time we can talk about it. Who knows? But our next piece of news happened this morning. And it's kind of set the Nintendo world, I wouldn't say on fire, more like on ice. But this is an interesting thing to bring up. Nintendo, yesterday, as of recording, Thursday morning, as we record this podcast, they put out this little Nintendo Switch Online playtest program. Now, what this is, honestly, I wish I had answers. This is a thing that they tweeted out and said, if you want to participate in this playtest for Switch Online, come on over to the website. Only 10,000 people can apply. They went live at 11 a.m. Eastern time this morning, and, all these spots were filled in 5 seconds. I actually got in, though, Scott. I got into this playtest.
Very nice. What was the application process like? I did not partake in anything like this.
So it was this morning. You go to their site that they linked, and it just says, once it's 11 a.m., 8 a.m. Pacific, you click this button that says apply here. You click it. You click I agree to these terms. You click OK, and you're in. Now, what happened after that is you would get taken to a screen. It would say either selected or not selected. I was selected, and then shortly after, that all happened. But shortly after, I get this email from Nintendo that says, hey, here's an NDA, sign it. And so I signed it, and then what happened was I got this email, one more from Shigeru Miyamoto, and he was like, Max, we're excited to have you do the playtest. And then I woke up. But all of it did happen except for the NDA part and everything after that. I don't know what this is. I don't know if I have to sign something, but here's my take, and then I'll get yours. Listen, it can't be that crazy of a thing. People are saying it's GameCube, Switch Online, Switch 2, voice chat achievements. I don't know what this is. I don't think it's major, because, if Nintendo wants people to test something, they have people. It makes me think that this is some sort of, online feature testing thing. It's a Switch Online thing. But if that's the case, why are you only letting 10,000 people participate? I don't know. Final detail before I get your thoughts. You are supposed to download a special software for it, which is 2.2 gigabytes. It's kind of large. And then you can start playing it on October 23rd. Do we have thoughts about this? What do you think this might be, Scott?
I think this is probably just going to be Nintendo just giving people the opportunity to be honest. I've been pretty off of social media, so I know of this. I've seen reports on it, but I didn't really see reactions to it / how it was worded by Nintendo. I've also been a little busy the past 2 days, so haven't super looked at the finer details, but just roughly based on what I've seen the reports on this say, I feel it's kind of just I feel it kind of just shows it right there, the fact that it's kind of hey, this is a Switch Online playtest program. It's probably down to, as Nintendo Switch Online users, Nintendo is hey, these people are pretty serious about their Switch. They're some of our core users. They like online multiplayer. So it's probably to beef up their online multiplayer, kind of have a little more of a concrete beta test program. They've done stuff like that before with Splatoon. It wasn't really labeled as this is a beta. It's a test fire, or yep. ARMS was the test punch. And whatnot, but they all happened before the game launch. I'm sure Nintendo pulled some data from that in terms of how online is working out and maybe what to tweak, what to beef up before the game launches. So I kind of feel this is going to be a whole lot of nothing, but when does Mario Party Jamboree come out?
Comes out next Thursday, 1 week from now, as of recording, October 17th.
Okay. I was about to say if potentially it launched after that, because I forgot the date of that game. I knew it was just October. If it was after that, I could imagine it just being you get to play test Mario Party Jamboree online or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then again, at this point, I'm kind of yeah, who knows what it is. I saw some people say something about game streaming. It could be a game streaming beta where Nintendo wants to do more of a bit of a more designated cloud streaming service for the Nintendo Switch, rather than just randomly some games, instead of getting ports, they're the cloud versions or something, and they use kind of like this kind of cruddy like user interface and all of that. Maybe they want to do something a little more like PlayStation and Xbox in terms of like having more robust streaming. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be anything crazy. This makes no sense to be GameCube or any kind of like new system. Like why would they need testers for that? Like that's ridiculous. So it's just like, I don't know. I think it's either going to be kind of just like, hey, you get to kind of beta test some online games. Probably nothing that's like, oh, you see things before the rest of the public. It's probably going to be something like, hey, a week before the new Mario Party comes out, even though that wouldn't apply to this specifically, but you get to play for the weekend online and tell us what it's like. Or maybe it's like some cloud streaming stuff. I don't know.
Dude, it's gonna be interesting. Like we know nothing about this, but as you were saying, like it's obviously it's nothing crazy major, and as you said, nothing that we're gonna see before everyone else. You know, if there was something big like GameCube games, for example, and by the way, I don't even think GameCube games will come to Switch Online because they're making remasters of them and making bank off of that. I don't think that they're going to put them on there for free. If it was something like huge, like, for a game like, no, I'm not saying that this would ever be like a new Nintendo game, but like a game like, take Mario Wonder. They have testers to test that kind of stuff. We're just randos testing this. I don't know what it would be personally. I mean, I could see game streaming would make sense. Aside from that, like, once again, there's people saying achievements. I don't think that needs much testing. It's got to be something with the internet, because they even said, we recommend that you use the Switch in TV mode and have a wired internet connection. So it's obviously something. You know what? Those 2 points right there kind of point to game streaming,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, because I wouldn't think it would make sense, let's say like, oh, what if they're going to show you a brand new game or something? I don't think so. I mean, like, what multiplayer game would they have you play test on October 23rd? There's nothing. And I feel like if they would have you play test something, firstly, they would probably have it announced first. They would probably announce, let's just act like GameCube games is what it is.
Sure.
They would announce that first. And then they would probably like have a little thing at the end. They're like, and Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack users can apply to become playtesters for that. Like, why would they keep it a secret? They would announce it first and then, roll it out like that. So yeah, I think I would probably lean towards game streaming. It's something where they can just have like a couple of Switch titles that you can test and, give your feedback on. The more I talk about it, the more that makes sense, which doesn't really excite me much. Game streaming is like, it's nice to have, but it's only ever like a cool little option, especially like if I'm doing like Xbox Game Pass and I just want to mess around with something. You can just hit, game streaming and just see what a game is like. And then if you really want it, you can download it afterwards. So, I think it's a great option to have, but not the future of gaming. And anytime I've tried game streaming on Switch, it's never been that great. But if Nintendo themselves are, trying it out, I think it could be interesting. It might be a nice little feature to have. It might be a nice little bonus for Nintendo Switch Online. So we'll see. But I feel like that's probably what this is. And if it is, I'm like, neat, I guess, but like not something I'm crazy excited about.
Sure. Man, October 23rd, we play it, so we'll see by then. The suspense is building, but something that the suspense is not, well, you know what? I guess for the game, the suspense is building. I guess not, because they're giving us more info. Either way, our next little bit of news here is Mario and Luigi, the great series making its return this November. We just got the pre-order bonuses revealed for that game, and this may seem like a small thing, but I really like to talk about these things. It's just so neat, and an extra joy on launch day. So the 3 main stores here for the US that are giving out pre-order bonuses for the game, Best Buy is giving out a pin set, 1 pin of Mario and 1 of Luigi. GameStop giving out keychains, and Target is giving out a little photo frame set. Let me get your little spiel here, Scott. You buy a game. Let's say it's Mario and Luigi in this case. Where do you buy it from? Do you buy based on the pre-order bonuses? Do we care about these?
Oh, it depends. To be fair, I've, now that you said that Target gets the photo frame, I'm going to make a bold claim. I think Target usually gets the coolest stuff, which is interesting because that's the last place I want to buy games.
Yeah.
Or at least one of them. I don't like asking for games behind a case, but, and all of them are like that at Target. But I remember Splatoon 1 on Wii U, you got a squirt gun.
Yes, I love that.
Squirt gun. That was cool. And you could also buy it separately too. You could just ask them like, "Can I get a squirt gun for $5?" and they would give it to you. Mario Maker had a really like kind of like cheap Rubik's Cube, but it was still something. And GameStop had like a poster instead, which is that was a good poster. I do like that's in my closet somewhere, but comparing these, I know pins and keychains are pretty easy for these companies to make. Photo frame is probably also easy, but it's interesting. I like that. Mm-hmm. So I'd probably go for Target, but to be honest, I'd probably just go with just grabbing it, whatever, however is the easiest way. I usually a pre-order bonus has to be really cool. These are just kind of like neat little bonuses, but I don't think they'd really greatly affect where I'd get them.
Sure.
But if I had to choose, I would pick Target because that one's fun.
Yeah, for me, for some reason, I always love picking based on the bonus because going to the same store is nice. You know that they'll have your game, but like mixing it up, getting a different thing, it's cool. However, I don't love going to GameStop because, and this is such a small little detail, but I'm going to say it. When a game comes out, I get the game and play it, then talk about it on this podcast, and I want to get it physically. Best Buy opens 2 hours earlier than my GameStop. I got to go there. But I will say, out of the pre-order bonus war, I do think that GameStop's keychains would be my pick. I will say. It's, you can maybe use them more places, like put one on your backpack, put one somewhere else, maybe. The photo set looks cool. I just don't really have a photo that I'd put in there, I guess.
Oh, I don't either, but what if?
That's true.
What if that it's so the possibilities are endless. I don't like going to GameStop because they get a little too chummy with me. I don't like talking to them that much. I just want to get my game and get out of there.
They just like talk to you a bunch, or like
GameStop employees, they keep talking, man. They just keep rattling off to me about some pre-order bonuses or whatever. Like I'm just like I just want to get in and get out sometimes.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But Best Buy, I do have like my membership there, so I usually get at Best Buy.
Yeah, Best Buy's good.
Or Amazon, but Amazon does not really. First off, like Amazon keeps going in and out of fashion with Nintendo. Like there was a period for like a while. This was during like the 3DS Wii U era, where like Amazon did not sell Nintendo systems. They just refused. I think Nintendo had a problem with them. And then they finally started doing that, and like you could get all your Nintendo stuff on Amazon and everything. That was all great. But recently, after like 2020, late 2023, like they don't sell first-party Nintendo games on Amazon. And if you buy first-party games on Amazon, you get like the PEGI version or something from like a third-party seller, and it also comes in and it's all messed up and I don't know.
Yeah.
So I pick Best Buy, but I'm sorry, you were saying something.
I forget what I was saying, but Amazon's not good. You know what? They're actually pretty hit or miss because one time I had pre-ordered Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, and I actually got it 3 days early.
Nice.
But on the flip side, I forget which Switch game I ordered. It wasn't a huge one, but like it was one that was coming out, made by Nintendo and everything. and it didn't get here until about 3 days later. So it's very hit or miss. I'm thankful I don't have to rely on them. And that's even if you get the game on launch day. You might get the game the next day, 5 p.m. on launch day. You're better off going to these stores. So you're Team Target, and I would be GameStop. I'm not going to GameStop. I'm going with Best Buy here.
Oof.
Boom.
Yeah, Best Buy is okay. Best Buy is okay. They've been going downhill a little bit recently. They got rid of their DVDs. That's kind of lame.
Yeah.
And a lot of games, the whole game section is starting to get go downhill too. Like Nintendo's kind of like the only one left that's there's actually something to look at. Like when I go Xbox, there's nothing. There's 12 games. And PS5 is like a small wall. Nintendo actually has stuff to actually look at Best Buy, which I appreciate. But yeah, I like the Target pre-order bonus, but I'd probably buy it at Best Buy. But I see that they just put out some trailers for Mario and Luigi. I haven't caught the overview trailer yet. I'm kind of just like, I know I'm gonna buy it, so I'm not going that crazy for it, but I might take a look at it soon.
I try to avoid those just so I don't really know what I'm getting into. I like surprises, but I may have to peek if I get too impatient. But our final little bit of news before our award show segment. This is just cool stuff that I wanted to bring. This is just cool stuff. So, Pokemon and Crocs are collabing, Scott. This launches October 17th, same day as Jamboree. And there are 4 different types of Pokemon Crocs. You got Charizard Crocs, Snorlax Crocs, Jigglypuff Crocs, and Gengar Crocs. $70, if I can speak, for the adult sizes, and $55 for the kid sizes. Scott, you go to the mall, you enter Foot Locker, and the employees there come up to you and say, "Hey, what can I get for you?"
And you say, one of these 4 or Mario Party Jamboree.
Yes.
Which one?
Are we saying Pokemon Crocs? Are we buying these?
I've never owned Crocs. All my friends, everybody else in my life has had Crocs. And they rave about them. They're like, these are the most comfortable shoes. I've always been a slides guy.
Yeah.
I have Nike slides, little flip-flops. And I usually wear those if I just need to bum it a little bit.
Sure.
But you know what? I actually looked at like a lot of limited edition Crocs before. There's some cool stuff. I saw like Cinnamon Toast Crunch ones. Those are kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, hey, looking at the designs here, I think they look pretty sick. I think they're kind of like, I think they're a nice little like even out design. You have the Pokemon little studs on them, but they also just look like pretty decent little like mixes of colors, like a little splash of paint there. If you're wearing any of these, like it doesn't look like you're wearing Pokemon shoes. It looks like Pokemon inspired shoes. Yeah, which is kind of a little like they feel very fashionable, which is pretty cool. But I'm not into the Croc game. I need to dip my toes in before I go all in on Pokemon Crocs personally.
Yeah, I was a Croc guy from pretty much toddler to somewhere around 7th grade. And, they're pretty comfortable. But I will say, and this might be a hot take, I feel like you gotta wear socks or else like it almost like hurts your feet in a way.
Man.
But I've kind of converted to you, though. Like, I'm a slides guy now. I too have Nike slides, actually. I too have those. I have the black ones. Do you have black Nike slides? Are we the same?
I have these really rancid black and red ones that I've had for years. They are falling apart. I had some nice gray ones, but like I don't know where they are. Oh, I stepped in mud in them.
Oh.
So I don't like they were a little gross for a second there. At least like the bottoms of them were gross. So I'm like, oh, I'll wash these. I never washed them.
Yeah.
So I just have my kind of lame black and red ones. But if I got new ones, I'd probably get black ones. I think just like a nice black flip flop. That's my thing. I don't like the flip flops that go in between your toes. I hate those.
No.
That's like, I feel like if I ever get into those again, I'm gonna be like 55, retired, and like wearing a Hawaiian shirt on the beach. And that's the only time I'm gonna be wearing like those toe things. I don't know. The slides are where it's at, but I'm open to Crocs. I need to dip my toes. I need to try like kind of like a basic Croc first before I jump into the crazy ones like this. But they do look pretty okay.
They do look pretty good. I mean, especially, dude, those like little middle of the flip-flop, the little like in between your toe thing. I'm a guy who, not to get too deep into shoes here, but I'm a guy, I want to follow up. I wear socks with slides. Is that normal?
Hey, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Some people like to make these bold claims on all that. Hey, listen. I have like hardwood floors here, and like people rave about hardwood floors, but I always grew up with like carpet, and my feet just get so dry with these hardwood floors. I always wear socks. I always need to wear socks. So, if I'm wearing like some slides, I might pop on. I'm probably wearing some socks while I'm wearing them too. So
same here.
I don't think it's that weird, but like there is kind of a stigma.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you hear like, oh, socks with sandals. You're one of those guys, huh?
Socks with sandals, pineapple on pizza. Like they just make their own rules.
I love pineapple on pizza. I wear socks and sandals too. That's how it is.
Yeah. But Pokemon Crocs, those are out. That's a cool thing. But what everyone came here for, Scott, let me go ahead because I feel like there are going to be some people or somebody who's asking me, why are we doing Nintendo Switch Game Awards when the Switch is not even over yet? And I felt like this is a good time because when Switch 2 gets announced, we might just be a little bit late. All the talk turns to Switch 2. Speculation, what games are going to launch, what does it do, the power, everything. There's too much. I wanted to do this with you. No better guest to do it with. We're going to do our Nintendo Switch Game Awards. We have 5 categories here. I would do more or else we would be here for a long time. Let's go ahead, not delay it any further. Let's get right to it. Folks, welcome on in. Little applause here to the EmSwizzle and Scott the Woz Nintendo Switch Game Awards. We have 5 categories here for Nintendo Switch Awards. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through them, then we will dive in. The first award up for grabs is the Best DLC Award. So what DLC, is the best, most worth it, whatever you think is the best DLC. Then we have the Best Soundtrack, maybe not the biggest, most important award, but I wanted to go over it because it's a big thing to me. I like soundtracks. Best Mario Game, Worst Game on Nintendo Switch. We're going with a bad award here, so we'll get to that. And then we have Best Game on Nintendo Switch. Scott, let's go ahead. I'm going to start with you. We're going to go 1 for 1. Hit me with your best DLC award, what it is, and why.
Yeah, that's a little tricky. Because, just thinking back, when I think of, are you thinking paid DLC or are you thinking free DLC?
I'm thinking paid DLC, but it could be free DLC.
Yeah, thinking back, you can go back to the launch of Nintendo Switch with something like Breath of the Wild. I think the DLC for that game is okay. I don't think it's it was anything like that wild, it kind of felt like stuff that's it was interesting. I think the first wave, they introduced stuff that's it'll track where you are on the map and it'll do this,
yeah,
it'll do that. It almost felt like little quality of life improvements or something like that, which is interesting for paid DLC. But then you had more stuff to do later down the line with the Champions Ballad and stuff. I honestly didn't really play much of the DLC at all. I think actually I bought the DLC on Wii U because I thought it was funny that you could get a Nintendo Switch shirt that Link could wear. I bought it on that and I got the shirt and then that was all I did on the DLC. But I'm thinking 2 here that kind of wins it for me. There's Splatoon 2's Octo expansion, and that's pretty much what the single player should have been.
Yeah.
In Splatoon 2. Because Splatoon 2's single player was just kind of it was kind of more of the same, but just kind of lesser than the first game. I think the first game's single player was really cool at first. Especially considering I don't think it was when Splatoon was originally unveiled, like they were kind of like, we're not really focusing on single player. Like it was almost kind of like, oh wow, there is a single player here. And then Splatoon 2 was just kind of like, okay, this is just kind of the same thing again. Octo expansion had like a really cool vibe, really great like final boss and everything. But I'm also like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. I mean, that started off a little rough.
Yeah.
You know? That was pretty rough at the start. It had its moments. It was like a total like 6, 7 out of 10 where it's just like it's okay. It's better than nothing. But then by the end you get like, you know, some of the best tracks in that entire game. They actually started to like pull in good like Mario Kart Tour tracks and, you know, introduce new tracks before they entered Mario Kart Tour, but they were technically new to Mario Kart 8. And the music is just so good. And they actually introduced characters. And then they started actually updating the game. You got like the music player then. And then you also get like the item. You could do custom items, which was like, that was like big. I remember people requesting that during like Mario Kart Wii 7 and when 8 was on Wii U. So like that's massive. I think Splatoon 2's is a little more like I feel like that's a little more what's the word? Respectable. I think just because like you see it, it's like this like you could tell like they poured a lot into that. They were like, let's just make a really good DLC. Mario Kart 8, you can kind of look at that like they were kind of just asset flipping, reusing stuff, and just like let's pour more tracks into Mario Kart 8. But you could also tell by the end they really cared about that. I think when it comes down to it, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's DLC effectively doubled the game, so I think I'll go with that.
Sure. Yeah, respectable for sure, for sure. The Mario Kart DLC, one of the most worth it, I feel. That one I like a lot. It did definitely double the game, but do you feel like that at least some of that should have been in the game already?
You know, back when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe launched, I remember being pretty excited about that back in like 2017. I mean, that was like the second big Switch game. You know, you got Breath of the Wild for like a month and a half. That was great. But then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was launching, and I'm like, oh my god, we are so in. This is going to be awesome. They fixed battle mode. There's new characters. And I started playing, and I'm like, yep, it's Mario Kart 8 again. I've been playing this for years, you know? It's kind of weird how, like, I kind of thought that way. I was so excited, and then I realized, like, oh, it is genuinely Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I remember, like, rumors before the Switch even came out of, like, Mario Kart 8's coming out, and they're going to have new tracks and blah, 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 and they never had new tracks. And for years, people kept on saying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe should get DLC, and I'm like, they're done. They're done. And then, of course, they ended up doing it, like, when, like, all hope was lost. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was kind of like, I think it was a good value. You know, like, it was only 3 years old by the time it came out. And they fixed battle mode. They had some new characters. You know, 8 new battle tracks. So, I mean, there were kind of tracks in the game. So it's just like, you know, yeah, I mean, it would have been cool to been in the game, but, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like I got my money's worth out of both the base Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game and also the DLC. So I'm not really complaining much.
Indeed. That's a good pick. Mine, I knew it very simply. I knew it simply, and I fell in love. And honestly, as much as I love this DLC, I didn't actually beat it for the longest time because somebody spoiled it for me. I saw this stupid tweet. I don't want to say what the tweet said because I've not said what game it is yet, but I will say it right now. My DLC best award, flip that around, best DLC award goes to Scott. Do you see what game that is up there? Possibly, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah, what you're doing the old. You're doing Happy Home Paradise?
Happy Home Paradise, Scott. It has to be. And here's the thing.
How did you get spoiled? What's there to get spoiled?
Because the ending scene with DJ KK, celebrating, somebody tweeted that and said, "Drop that beat, DJ KK." I was like, it just spoiled it for me, so I never actually beat it until, a long time ago. But the thing is, with this, I value playtime a lot. And while it does get kind of repetitive, you're just designing houses over and over and over, I feel like not only was it the most perfect DLC that you could make for this seemingly design-heavy game, everyone's just decorating and designing, it's the best move. There's just so much to do. You're building like 6 different buildings. There's so many villagers to build houses for. I don't know how to like put it all into words. It was just like the best next step for the game. And, at the great price of any Nintendo DLC, or most of them anyway, $25, I am in love with it. But I also just love Animal Crossing as a whole, so that might also influence, my pick from the average Nintendo fan. I think it's number 1, but I do really like the Mario Kart DLC, and I almost said that, and I almost said, this could sound stupid, I almost said Splatoon 3 DLC. And
Inkopolis?
That's so cool.
DLC?
I'm so nostalgic for that Inkopolis square, Buddy, that was cool.
I got like 8 Wii U's. I can plug that in whenever I want.
Yeah,
I can enjoy Inkopolis whenever I want.
But the online servers are down, so can you?
Yeah,
it's tough.
No, I think it's just interesting because the concept of time gets weird as you get older. So like Splatoon 1 doesn't feel that long ago to me at all. Like I remember like just like plugging that in like day one, getting a little pre-order bonuses, all that stuff, and it doesn't seem like that far away. I'm nostalgic for that era. I mean, like that was a fun, horrible era to be a Nintendo fan. But it did have its upsides. It felt like we were all kind of like a small little community, a small little cult, if you will.
Sure.
That were like, we're supporting our Wii U. But it's just, it's wild because that's like a decade old at this point, doesn't really feel like it to me. So it's just like, yeah, it makes sense. It's something that's like, it is cool that they actually did bring that back. I just always thought it was a little strange as like paid DLC. But I did hear Side Order was good. I actually recently bought the Splatoon 3 DLC. I never played it up until this point, so I will give it a try. So I can't really complain much. I did buy it yesterday.
Yesterday? Wow.
We'll see.
This is a good time.
Yeah. I always do like my little Switch recap year videos.
Yeah.
And that means I have to play. I have to play the Splatoon 3 DLC to see what was going on there. But I heard Side Order was really cool. And the Inkopolis thing, that'll be cool to revisit. Splatoon 1 was like the main one that I got into. So that is cool.
I was very young when Splatoon 1 came out, so like it just makes it like extra nostalgic. Which I guess is why I gravitate towards it. It was just a cool thing. And back then I didn't even know that Nintendo was like failing. Like the Wii U was a fail. I didn't know. I just like didn't care about that kind of stuff. I was so innocent, so it brings back good memories, but we can move on to our next award, and that is the best soundtrack in any Nintendo Switch game. First party, third party, anything. Scott, hit us with your pick.
This was the one that I think I have the hardest time with. I can cheat and just say Smash Brothers.
Sure.
That's easy, but that's the lamest. That is the lamest thing I could possibly say. Because it's just like, it's like thousands of tracks at that point. Everybody's favorite songs are in there. And I could also cheat and say Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again. Is the soundtrack in that, especially like after the DLC, like the DLC has some of the best songs in that game. It's incredible. Like I said, this one was like the one that like I was having the biggest problem with. But you know what? One that I always kind of come back to is Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Ooh.
I love the soundtrack in Bowser's Fury. Those songs never get old. You'll like, what is it? Scramble Shores? I don't want to look like an idiot. Scramble Shores? No. That's a Sonic Dream Team. What?
I would not know.
Scamper Shores. That's it. Scamper Shores. Because it's a cat. He scampers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. That's it. Scamper Shores. And just like, oh, it's so much. I love that soundtrack. It is so good. So like, just because, I mean, like, probably my actual answer would be Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I mean, hell, even some of my favorite songs from Smash Brothers are like the Smash specific songs, the ones that like they'll take the main Smash theme and they'll remix it based on like the menu you're on. You have the vault or the spirit board or the inventory screen or the World of Light map. You know, like I love that stuff. I love that in every Smash game, even like the Wii U game, Wii U 3DS, Brawl, all that. Like I love like Brawl themes remixed and that, you know, all that. So like I would say my official answer is probably Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If that doesn't work, then I'll do Bowser's Fury.
Gotcha. Is it mostly Bowser's Fury, or is there some, 3D World, or like none of that? Like, do you separate those two?
Firstly, 3D World has one of the best soundtracks in Mario history. Like every song in that, like I love Galaxy to death. Galaxy is my favorite game of all time, but I think 3D World has like I don't know. There's something about that soundtrack. All the songs are just awesome.
Bangers.
And I think Galaxy has a good variety of like awesome songs and then also more atmospheric songs. And then some songs are just kind of like, honestly, a little whatever. And that's like 5% of the soundtrack. I feel like 3D World has like some of the best, like, whatever, some of the best just general Mario music in the whole franchise, but I'd say I do kind of combine them both. I know Bowser's Fury is kind of its own separate thing, but they're both a part of the same package. So I would say it includes the 3D World soundtrack as well. So
Super Bell Hill. Wait, that's what it's called, right? You can't beat that.
That's the first one. That's the first song.
It's a nice welcome to the game, but. My pick here, Scott, it's one that you mentioned but didn't want to pick, and I guess by me saying that, you can probably guess what I'm going to pick.
Snipper Clips.
Yes.
I was going to say Snipper Clips too. Snipper Clips has the first two songs in that game are really fun.
They're funky.
I like using that when I'm editing. It's some fun songs.
They're funky. My pick for this award here is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think that's it, with the DLC. And you were saying, like, it can kind of be seen as like a cheat code, like it's just a very easy pick. But my thing is, like, there's no bad song in that game. Like, it's just banger after banger. My favorite, honestly, is, I think, it's tough, but I think I've got to call it Mario Circuit, the new one, like the new Mario Kart 8 circuit, because it was used in all the promo.
There's like 5 Mario circuits. You got to be specific.
The new one, because I think, if I can recall correctly, that song was used in like all the promo back in the Wii U days. Not all of it, but some of it. Like, that's the song that I knew before I even went into the game. The new Mario Circuit track, the one with the Ultra Hand thing, that's cool. Second would be the Animal Crossing one. I'm just an Animal Crossing fan. That happens to be one of those two. But you can pick any track in the game, and it's a good song. They really put love in it. It was great. I picked Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Close second and third. Second would have been, this is so stupid. I probably would have said, get ready, Minecraft. And that's barely even like a Switch game. But dude,
just the memories,
wet hands. That song, Moog City. Come on, it doesn't get better than that, And then third would have been
Yeah, I mean, we could just keep going down this hill. We could just go keep going through everything we're nostalgic for. The Switch has pretty much every game, so we could just be like,
pick any.
I like this game's soundtrack because I grew up with it, and it's like a 20-year-old game that's been on like 20 different platforms or whatever.
Yeah,
well, yeah, I mean, pretty much both of our picks are like Wii U games, so it's just like, you can't really argue about anything, really.
That's true.
what do you think about like a Switch specific game? Because I was trying to think like a Switch exclusive game with the best soundtrack.
I know my answer.
Because like, what was that?
I know my answer for that because I think that would have been my fourth pick.
Well, what is it?
Third would have been Stardew Valley, but Switch game. Fourth pick would have been, I think it has to be Mario Wonder.
You know, I was listening to some Mario Wonder songs lately. That has some very interesting songs because like you expect a certain vibe from 2D Mario, and I feel like they kind of defied that in a lot of cases. Like the underground theme in this, like they could have just done the same underground remix they always do, but they went for something completely different. And I like how they sparingly use like nostalgic songs because like I feel like Mario got way too into like oh, we're just gonna remix this song and this song and this song, you know, it's kind of like reusing the same ones. Like they don't really do that a lot. They have like a couple cute little like, oh, let's throw in a Mario 3 jingle here or something, but like for the most part, Mario Wonder is like a completely original soundtrack.
Sure.
And like the overworld theme, the one that like initially played in the reveal trailer, like there's just something boppy about that one.
Something
I
about
love that
it.
one. There's also ARMS. I like ARMS soundtrack. That thing is awesome, especially the online lobby. It's just a fun little vibe. I love that one.
I'm trying to remember what it sounded like.
Every song is the same.
Really?
They all follow. They go da da da. Oh god. It goes. They're all like chants. They all like, use vocals.
Oh, right.
Da 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 da.
Right. Is it similar to Mario and Sonic at the Rio? Because they kind of did that too, like the little vocals there. Similar
Yeah,
to
I'm kind
that?
of thinking that. Yeah. Now that you mention it, that does. Yeah, that is, I've never made that connection in my life, but yes,
Yes.
that is fair.
There you go.
But I do like the ARMS soundtrack. That was a good soundtrack.
Do you like the ARMS game?
It's okay. I mean, like I think ARMS could really benefit from a sequel, but I'm not like, oh man, I need ARMS 2.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. It's one of those things where like I feel like if ARMS 2 was going to happen, it would have happened already. You know, they would have put it out like last year or 2 years ago. They're like ARMS 2, and much like how they did Everybody 1-2 Switch.
I was just going to say
like,
that. I was just going to say that. They
Yeah.
made that instead.
I mean, like people like there's a good fan base for ARMS. I think ARMS is really love it or hate it. You know, either people really love it or people are like, this is dumb. I don't think it's dumb, but like it does kind of follow a lot of like the multiplayer Switch game thing Nintendo follows, where it's just like, we're gonna support it with free updates until we give up.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, a lot of those free updates don't really fix a lot of the problems of ARMS. You know, it's just like I just kind of felt like, you know, I don't need more characters and stages. I kind of need more of like a reason to keep playing other than I want to get better and better. Like I kind of want a story mode. I kind of want like extra fun little things to do. I don't know, but it's okay.
Yeah, even with like Mario Strikers, they're like adding new characters. I'm like, that doesn't
that was
save the
god-awful.
game. Yeah.
That was the worst example of that. Oh my god. I hate the stadiums and how they kept going, we have a new stadium. It's just like, it's a different color of grass.
Yeah.
I don't care. And then like, it's just, you can't even see the unique things about the stadium because of the camera angle. So I'm just like, why even bother?
And I actually like Mario Strikers Battle League. I just like it because I like Mario Strikers, but are there better Strikers? Yeah.
Well, the gameplay is solid.
Yeah, it's solid
You know?
for sure.
It's a solid game, but like, it's just, especially at launch, it's just like you play it for an hour, you've seen literally everything.
Yes, I was going to say there has to be more of the game, not more
Yeah.
characters, please.
It's kind of just made for people that just are like, I just want to keep grinding and get the best I can possibly get it, instead of just like, you know, it's just like after an hour I'm done. But
Yeah. Get the best you can possibly get, then play against the 4 people online. But our next award is the best Mario game. This is divisive. This is spicy. Scott, I'll hand it to you. Best Mario game on Switch.
I feel really bad because I feel like all my answers are like the exact same at this point. Okay, so I mean, you're probably including all kinds of like spin-offs and
Sure.
just
Yeah.
weird stuff.
We can do sports games, mainline, even like Mario and Rabbids. You can count that.
Yeah, I think I'm still gonna go with 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, mainly because that is the best value in all of gaming. That is like, I'm serious. 3D World was like a little divisive at the start, but over time, like especially now that we got Mario Odyssey and whatnot, I think the main reason why I didn't like Mario 3D World, I mean, I never didn't like it, but like I was always a little. I was like, oh, this is great. And then a little lukewarm. And then this is great. And then, like it kind of flip-flopped. I think with the introduction of Mario Odyssey, just giving us like this, robust, like open world or like sandbox 3D Mario game. I think that just made 3D World feel a lot more like it really made 3D World like showcase a lot of like what it does really well. No, it wasn't trying to be like a 3D Mario that's like trying to be something it isn't, like you can now like, oh, we have Odyssey and we have 3D World. So I think just with time, it's gotten a lot. It's really easy to see how great of a game that is.
For sure.
And the Switch version is perfected. Like they even colored all the stamps.
Yes.
I think that's awesome.
It's great. A lot of extra content there. Yeah. Sorry,
and then you get Bowser's Fury, which is awesome too. It's just like it's the best. Now I like Mario Wonder a lot. I think Mario Odyssey is great, but I'd probably go with Mario 3D World.
Respectable. That's, I think, my favorite Mario game of all time. But guess what? That's not my pick though.
Well, how does that make sense?
Because I wanted to go a little more Switch gamey. But
oh god, okay. Well,
but
then
I
I'll
guess
think about another one too.
Sorry, because now I realize I guess I'm lying. But this is the best Mario game for other reasons. I would say because maybe nostalgia factors in with my 3D World love. I got it for Christmas and played it that day, and it was great. But I feel a little bit different towards the game that I picked here, and that game is Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Oh, really? Look at you, so unique. Explain yourself.
I will explain
3D World's
myself.
Your favorite of all time? Come on.
But listen, I think here's why. I think because this is the first Mario Bros. Game that I consumed everything of. Announcement, build up, the demo at Target, launch, like everything. 100% of the game. I think it was just different because when Mario Bros. Wii, Mario 3D World, I didn't know that a Mario 3D World existed until I got it for Christmas. I was, how old? 7 when I got 3D World? I'm younger than you might think, Scott. I'm a young little boy. So Mario Wonder was like the first thing I fully consumed. It was just so much more magical in that way to where I point more fond memories to Mario Wonder than I do Mario 3D World. And it's more of a Switch thing. I guess I am somewhat lying. There's your is that your cat? Or
that's my cat. Don't worry about him.
Cat cameo. But I just have more fond memories maybe with Mario Wonder, but you could make a pretty good argument for a tie with Mario 3D World and Mario Wonder. However, I do pick Mario Wonder.
Here's the thing: 3D World was probably the thing that was probably the game for me. I was 16 when Mario 3D World came out. So and I consumed everything. Like 2013, that was when I was in like gremlin Nintendo fan mode. I was consuming everything. Yeah. I still consume everything, but it's also like it gets to the point that like after the 15th like rumor about the Switch 2, I'm just kind of like I know what this is at this point. I know this is just going to be a more powerful Switch. Oh, there's going to be an extra button on the Joy-Con. It's going to be a little bigger. I get it. I'm good with just waiting till it comes out. Like sure. I'm not like feverishly like trying to find every little thing. But also I'll watch videos and reports on like when a big thing happens. But back in 2013, the way you looked at Mario Wonder is definitely how I looked at like Mario 3D World. I think that game on Switch is perfected and it makes a lot more sense. Because like on the Wii U, that was the Wii U's 3D Mario game. That was the only 3D Mario game. Now we have pretty much like a Mario game for everybody on Switch. which I think is really cool. And the additions of Bowser's Fury is awesome. That just adds just so much to the game. If I had to be Switch specific, I'd probably go Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is quite excellent. The thing with that game, the only problem I have with that game is that I don't really want to replay it.
I am the same way. It's like something about it. I don't want to replay it.
I think it's kind of I think I was just waiting for a sequel.
Yeah.
And I'm just I've always kind of looked at it I love this game. It is so fun. I kind of want to replay it, but I also don't at all. And maybe I'll pop it in at some point. Maybe it's just kind of a brain thing that's just telling me it's just I think I was just waiting for so long for a Mario Odyssey 2 to get announced, and I don't think it's just going to happen. I think they're probably just going to move on to something brand new.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But, I would say Switch-specific Mario Odyssey, but overall, I'd pick Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. But Mario Wonder is pretty excellent,
Yeah.
It is a wonderful game. I do like it quite a bit.
Pun intended?
Not really, but I knew what I was doing too.
Ah, gotcha.
Do
you think anybody picked Mario plus Rabbids for their answer for either of the games?
I feel like some people do. You see some people. Okay, so I understand if some people aren't that into Mario, but I also don't at the same time. I'm kind of just they're just they're just I just don't they're just man, I just can't play Mario games. I don't get this. I'm really? These are people that play Fortnite every day, and they're just I can't play Mario. I'm why?
Yeah.
I understand if Mario's a little vanilla, but it's also I don't understand when I have so many people in my life that just can't do platformers, and I'm just hey, more for me, I guess. But
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But as positive as our last 3 awards have been, Scott, we move to our second to last. The worst game on Nintendo Switch. Now, the easy answer for us would be, I won't say exactly what they are, those AI eShop girl games. You know what I'm talking about. We could easily say that, but...
You just go on the eShop right now. That's my answer.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. You just look at the front page. That's it. There's a lot. I looked at the eShop for the first time in a while. It's usually I'm gonna go on the eShop if I know what I'm gonna get. It's not like it was back in the day, a couple years ago, where it's just I could go on the eShop and just have a fun time. That thing is the worst application. Terrible. It is so slow. It is awful, and I can't just browse it. I just can't casually browse it at all. It's god awful. But it's just I did a couple weeks ago, and there's 20 AI art cover games that are supermarket simulators, and they're all the same. So it's just I think it's a little more fair to be I guess retail games on Nintendo Switch. That's a little tricky. Do you remember back in the day? Do you remember back in the day, one of the first major games on Nintendo Switch? It was Vroom in the Night Sky.
Yes, and I played that. Yeah,
yeah, that was originally labeled as wow, this is the worst game on Nintendo Switch, and that's pretty much what most of the eShop games are these days. But I remember back when Nintendo first launched the Switch in the eShop, and there were barely any games, and they were well, we like quality control here. And I'm that was probably terminology for not a lot of people are making Switch games right now, so we just got to say we only want good games.
Exactly.
And then when the Switch started taking off, they were yeah, I don't care. I think, have you ever played the WWE 2K18 game on Switch? Or at least seen that one?
Not.
I bought it for a video. I'm not a wrestling guy, but I did hear that one was awful. That is a horrible port. It barely functions. It runs at 5 frames a second. It is bad. It is quite bad. There's also Troll and I. That was kind of funny. I remember that game for being really bad. There's also like that Kong Skull Island game on Switch.
I'm unfamiliar. What is it?
I'm trying to think of like all the bad Switch games. I'd say like the easy one for me would be like one, all the eShop shovelware. Just loop them all in. WWE 2K18. And I'll just, you know what? I'll do a first party Nintendo game.
Sure.
How about that? Because that's a little easier to figure out. What's the worst first party Nintendo game?
We might have the same answer.
I mean, like, okay, it's funny, haha, 1-2 Switch and everybody 1-2 Switch are garbage, but like, you know what they are. Are you really jumping in there and you're expecting like a good game?
Yes. You might.
Like, I don't know. I think for what it, and everybody 1-2 Switch is $30. They're giving you a deal.
True.
Yeah, I think first party Nintendo wise, it's probably going to be everybody 1-2 Switch. But I will say that begrudgingly because it's just like, you know, I kind of want a better answer than that. I kind of want a more unique one. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the worst stuff on Switch. I don't know. I've been rambling enough. Why don't you take over?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. Everybody wanted to Switch, the eShop shovelware. So my answer I wrote down could be thrown into the category of eShop shovelware. However, it's a little bit better because it did actually get a physical release, which is how you know, maybe they did something. And this game I got 2022, and I was never more disappointed with the game in my life. And this game is called Advent Calendar. So for me, Scott, have you heard of this?
I think I have.
So I love Christmas games. I played that Grinch game last year that came out. Not sure if you saw that. I was all into that.
Yeah.
This game that you might know about called We Wish You a Merry Christmas for the Wii. Give me that every single year. I love that game. Seriously.
It's high quality. It's high quality for what it is.
It's good, man. So when I see Advent Calendar, I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for. So I buy the game. Everything that you can name went wrong. Like everything went wrong with the game. The music's too loud at the start. It's booming. Then when you're in the actual game, it's all quiet. There's just like tiny things like where the loading screen just like dims out of nowhere. It's just like a random like why does that happen? The game itself reuses like Sudoku puzzles and like actual puzzles where like you drag the pieces. It's not great. There's what else is there? There's like a Candy Crush style game. Nothing original, nothing great. It's not good. They did make another one called Advent Calendar 15 Games or something like that. Have not played that, but Advent Calendar, I do own it physically. Not good. That would be my pick, along with, of course, the eShop stuff, the eShop shovelware. And if I were to go first party, my answer would too be everybody want to Switch, but yeah, I'm like you. I want to think of a better answer.
I did think of one.
Oh, you did? Let's go. Let's hear it.
Came out this year. Why don't you try to guess it?
Came out this year, so we got
Nintendo first party.
So we have another Code Recollection. We have Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Princess Peach Showtime, maybe. We got Paper Mario, Luigi's Mansion. Is it one of those I just named?
You missed it.
So hold on. What month did it come out? I want to test my knowledge here. May would have been so Paper Mario and Endless Ocean Luminous. Luminous.
That game is rough. Yeah. That is a rough game. I respect the Endless Ocean games, but like man, that one is bad. Like I'm sorry. Like it is like I feel like those games kind of like I feel like the budget of those games worked with the limitations of the Wii. You know, you're in 480p or whatever it is, and you know, but back on the Wii, like they had like voice acting, a full blown story, and like you know, like more, the ocean looked like an actual like something to explore. Yeah. And this one, they're using like this text to speech AI program, and I feel like the budget is probably like either the same or less than it was during the Wii era, and like when you put it in HD on the Switch, it just looks barren. It just looks really bad. And like the fact that it's all procedurally generated and like, I'm just like, this is bad. Like, I just think like, whatever, like this just feels like they just were like, let's bring back Endless Ocean. Okay. And we'll try to like cheapen out in some ways and market that as like a selling point. Like, oh, it's procedurally generated. It's a new ocean every time. I'm like, well, then I don't care about what I'm exploring. I don't feel like I'm exploring anything. I just feel like I'm just like, whatever. I'm just exploring random stuff that like there's nothing to discover. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I came on this very podcast and I was pretty excited when the game came out. I was like, man, this is fun. But the thing is, everything after that was just downhill. I played more story mode. It sucked. Some of the story mode levels are just cutscenes. Like it's just a cutscene. There's nothing to do. That sucked. And then it does get repetitive. And after like 200 fish, I can't find any new ones. Maybe it's I'm bad at the game, but it feels very like I'm not progressing. So let's just stop playing. Like that's kind of what it was for me. So didn't like it in the end, but I did like it at first. It was like real exciting. Then it just goes downhill. But yeah, I guess our picks are either Everybody Want to Switch, Endless Ocean. I picked Advent Calendar, eShop, Shovelware. There's a lot of bad on the Switch.
I'll say my final answer is the WWE game.
Oh, right,
because from the little I played it, that's my final answer. But like, if you want a Nintendo first party game, I think Everybody Want to Switch is a little more like, you know what you're getting into with that. I think Endless Ocean is way more disappointing. Like that's just bad. At least Everybody Want to Switch is just like, you know what it is going into it. Like you're not going to be that disappointed. So I say, yeah. Oh, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I hate that series. So that game, I don't like it.
It was somewhat charming, but it wasn't the greatest.
The art style is cute.
Yeah.
I like the art style in the game. But like I don't like the gameplay in Mystery Dungeon games. But those are my least favorite Nintendo first parties. But
I feel that. But to get back on the positive track, our final award here before the Q&A segment is the best Nintendo Switch game on the system. Very simple. We can kind of pick two answers here because I picked my answer. I know what it is. And if people have watched me previously, you might know what the answer is for me. But I didn't want to just say that. I also wanted to say what I think the best game is. Like, if I didn't feel any way towards any game, what is the best? I picked that too. So if you want, you can do that as well. Your favorite, then like the objective best game on Switch. Feel free, give me the spiel.
Clubhouse games.
Gotcha. That's a banger.
I love Clubhouse games. I love Clubhouse games.
I mean,
I keep lying to myself and being like, oh, it's like in my top 10. I'm like, it's probably my favorite. I mean, it's objectively like I do prefer. I'm not playing it every day or every week or every month, but I thought that game it did what it did perfectly. It's just like you can't deny that. The only problem is that like whatever stuff like bowling, you can't do more than 2 players. That's dumb, but that one is sick. I'd say like, yeah. Yeah, I'll say that for now. Why don't you go on and I'll make sure like if I have anything else to add.
Sure. Before I do, which Clubhouse game is your favorite if you have one?
Moncala.
That's the one I don't understand.
Oh, you put on cheat mode. Just put on assist mode and then it all falls into place. You can also undo moves. So if you're playing with people, you can just annoy them. I like that. Dots and boxes is great.
I suck at that.
I love that. Man. Oh, Pig's Tail is great. I learned all kinds of fun card games from this. It's educational and it's really fun. And you get like this random Mario Party 9 mini game in there. It's like called 6-Ball Puzzle. It was in like Mario Party 9 or something. And like a bunch of Wii Play stuff. You get shooting gallery. It works well with the Joy-Con. I love Clubhouse games. There ain't nothing wrong with it.
I'm so basic. I just play checkers and Connect 4 and boxing and those ones. Is there air hockey? I played that. Yeah, but I just
air hockey. It's good.
I don't want to like learn something. I just want to play. But I guess that's kind of a downfall of mine.
I'm not gonna act like I understand like how to play like Hanafuda in that game.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. But if you take a second to learn
Mancala.
I know there's President. That's a good one. I don't know. I'll just name like all 51 of these games and I'll tell you those are my favorites. So I digress.
So my best Nintendo Switch game award. This makes me feel better because I was worried that I was just going for my favorite Switch game. But hearing you say Clubhouse games, it like lets me feel more free to pick what I really do like? And the answer is, I think it's Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Wow. Wow.
It has to be. It has to be.
I mean, hey, you see a lot of people. I feel like you probably feel this way. You said your favorite game is New Leaf.
Yes,
I feel
correct.
like you probably do feel a little like you're like, I like New Horizons, but
I am that guy. Yeah.
But it's something where it's just like you could complain about New Horizons all day, but we all spend hundreds of hours in it, so it's just like,
sure. Yeah.
I don't think any of us, we can complain for sure. We can always criticize it, but to act like it's not a good game, I think is a little ridiculous for some people. I've seen like some people that get so frustrated. They're like, this game is awful. And I'm like, it's not. Come on.
New Horizons is so good. So good. I've put nearly 3,000 hours into it. I have no life for that during quarantine. I was big on it. And it's so good. Good DLC, good everything. But I will say that New Leaf got Tortimer Island. I just liked it better when all the shops were actual buildings, not like on Harv's Island, kind of phoned in. I liked when they were real buildings. I liked the New Leaf soundtrack better. But New Horizons is so good. For me, there's no like better game to pick. I mean, I guess my top 3, the second one might shock you, not to sound like a weird YouTuber. The second one might shock you. No, like Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm such a bandwagon fan for number 2. Another Code Recollection, dude. That game at the start of this year, the story won me over. Did you play it?
I played like the first hour. I need to get back into it. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm just like, that did shock me. That did shock me.
It did shock.
Wasn't expecting it.
The story is so good, especially like, so it's 2 games in one. The first one is real good. Something about the second one, it wasn't as crazy or good, but like it was just a charming thing. And I was like, that was the first game in so long where I was like, I cannot put this down. I played like 8 hours straight, which is not normal for me. So that was fun. It's weird, and I didn't know that game even existed. But this isn't the award topic. Animal Crossing New Horizons is my number 1. Oh, sorry, I was going to number 3. Number 3 would probably be either Mario Wonder or Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 was great.
Oh yeah, I need to finish Pikmin 4. I probably play like a third of it so far, and like I loved it. It was so cool. And then like stuff. It's horrible when that happens with like really good games you're playing, where it's just like you love it, but like I don't know. A lot of stuff comes up within like that next week, and then you just kind of fall out of it for a while. And Pikmin 4 is unfortunately like a little more complicated, at least like control wise compared to like previous Pikmin games, to the point where I'm a little worried about coming back in, that it's going to take me like a little bit to get readjusted to everything, like know the commands for like Ochi and all of that. I think it should be fine, but I do need to finish that one up. But yeah, that is awesome. I will definitely say also there is Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. I do love those games dearly. I mean, I don't know which one I'd pick, to be honest. They're both pretty equal to me. And there's Mario Odyssey, that's great. Smash is great. It's interesting, do you remember like back like when Smash Ultimate was like new and like everybody is talking about how amazing Smash Brothers is? And now I feel like it's just kind of like everybody's just like, okay, Smash Brothers is always there. We're very used to it at this point. Not saying that the excitement isn't there, but I feel like Ultimate just kind of did so much that like at this point, like I don't really know what else we're really begging for. There's stuff you can do, but like I'm like, I don't know.
Weirdly enough, it was actually just updated last night, I think, like with nothing big. But yeah, I feel like it really was this great thing. 2018, I believe it came out. And then, it was going on. You got all the new characters, all the new fighters. And then it did kind of sail off. And now we are just kind of like, as you said, okay. Like it did its thing. It's there. It's cool. Good times with the Switch. I mean, honestly, Scott, this Switch era could be coming to an end, if we are to believe leakers, as soon as like, I'm not saying this myself, as soon as like 2 weeks from now. It's kind of sad, huh?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I kind of feel like it's a little weird to call the Switch the best Nintendo console or like the favorite Nintendo console right now, because it's just like, I don't know. It's such a just like a normal thing in life at this point. It just kind of feels like it's just there. So it's like, it's kind of hard to get like that as attached to it as something like a Wii U or a Wii or a 3DS or a DS or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think at this point, like, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is probably the best Nintendo console. I'm like, yeah, it probably is.
Mm-hmm. And just to get your final take here, then we'll move on to the next segment. Do you think Switch 2 will be a great success? Everyone's going to be happy. What's your feeling towards it?
I think it's going to be a pretty basic upgrade. It's going to be a more powerful Nintendo Switch with a couple of fixes. I think some things are still going to be problems. But for the most part, I think it's going to be a decent upgrade. Nothing that exciting, to be honest, other than the idea that, like, hey, we're going to be able to play a lot of these games with more power. And that's pretty much, that's all you really need sometimes. But yeah, like, that's the thing. That's what makes speculation about this so kind of like whatever. Because it's just like, we can speculate all day about Switch 2, but like compared to like when the Switch was coming out and it was, the NX and everything, there's a little more like mystery as to like, okay, what are they going to do next? I don't really think there's a lot of mystery with this one, so it just kind of feels like I'm just waiting for it to get revealed, and I'm just kind of like, that's it. And you know what? Like, I think they kind of hit a winning formula with the Switch. I think it would be incredibly foolish for them to do something completely different, or even just go a little too far from what works. I think it would be very foolish for them to do that. It would be very Nintendo, but I don't think they should do that. I think they should ride out this concept and maybe introduce things to it over time, maybe with Switch 3 or something. Then you can maybe get a little wacky. I don't know. But yeah, I don't really think it's going to be anything that crazy. I think it's going to be the Nintendo Switch 2. That's what it's going to be. Power-wise, concept-wise, it's going to be the Switch we know, but a lot more powerful.
Be fair, yeah. It'll be a cool thing to see. That's our award, so everyone applause at home. It was fantastic. But now, our next segment here, Scott, to end everything off, is the Q&A segment, the question block segment, where we answer your questions you asked us. Let's go ahead and get to it. Folks, ding! Hit the question block. It is time for your favorite segment, the Q&A segment, the question block segment. Me and Scott answer your questions you asked us. If you want to submit a question for any episode, feel free on my YouTube community tab. We post there every week, and also in my Discord server link down below. You can submit there as well. Our first question comes from Vigro Sam, if I'm saying that right, who asks, what is your favorite non-Nintendo game? Scott, I'll pass it off to you, then I'll give my little spiel on the topic.
Yeah, that's a little tricky.
One of them, anyway. One of your favorite games.
Yeah. You know what? I really do love Resident Evil 4. I think that game is phenomenal. Recently, I've been playing Astro Bot, and that's really fun. But even then, Resident Evil 4 started as a GameCube game, and Astro Bot is very Nintendo-like. Let me try and think a little outside the box here. Why don't you answer this? I'll think about something that's like completely not even close to Nintendo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my answer's not as fun. Like, it's not even like an Astro Bot. It's not nothing like that. It's not as fun, but it's a game that I like to play. I am into like UFC, like fighting and stuff like that. So I enjoy playing UFC 5, a fighting game, for the Xbox. It's real fun. It's a game that I can just go and knock people's heads off, in the evening when I'm done with my YouTube-y stuff. And it's just always there. There's always someone online to go and shut up, and it's just fun. It's just fun. Apart from that, though, it's really a hard thing for me to answer because maybe you had this, Scott, I don't know. there's a certain part of your life where you're just all in Nintendo. You're playing all Nintendo stuff. You don't experiment with much else. Did you ever have that, or am I just weird?
Yeah, the Nintendo stuff is generally the stuff I pay the most attention to. I pay attention to the entire industry, but when it comes to playing games, like Xbox, like I don't care what's coming out.
Yeah.
By them most of the time. I'll give it a try, but like, there was Hellblade 2 earlier this year. And I'm just like, I don't care about this. Hellblade 1 was interesting. Hellblade 2 is literally just a walking simulator. It looks really nice, but I'm just kind of like, okay. I'm interested in Indiana Jones in the last in the Great Circle, I think is the title, I believe. That seems like it's going to be really cool. I'm also making sure, yeah, the Great Circle, okay. I don't want to look like an idiot. But yeah, I always do like, the traditional PlayStation exclusives. It's unfortunate that they've, slowed down a lot, and hopefully, they kind of come back up again. But yeah, for the most part, like I'm always going to be a little interested in like what Nintendo's doing the most. So, I do try to at least try most of the first party releases. I try to do that for like Sony too, but yeah, I kind of get a little too engrossed in Nintendo to the point where when I turn on the PS5 again and I play a game there, I'm just like, wow, games can look like this?
Yeah.
This is wild. My God.
So, what is your answer? Did you say it? Did I miss it?
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Gotcha.
I love Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. That's my favorite Grand Theft Auto.
Dang. I actually, that was before my time. I actually got it recently for the Xbox. So hopefully I will have a fun time there. Now that I know that it's your favorite non-Nintendo
It's a little
game.
nostalgia. I mean, like, you got to use cheat codes. I played that on my MacBook, and I used cheat codes. If you typed in chitty chitty bang bang, the cars fly. I like that. I like that game.
Maybe I have to get a Mac and play it there. But Lieutenant L.O. asks, what should be the next movie in the Nintendo cinematic... I can't talk. Nintendo cinematic universe. Let's go no Mario movie 2 and no Zelda movie, because those are obviously coming. What should be the next?
Well, kind of the thing is, if they're talking about cinematic universes, then, it kind of has to connect to Mario in some way, or potentially the Zelda. And so, there's the idea of a spin-off where you have either, like, potentially Donkey Kong or Luigi's Mansion. I feel like Donkey Kong probably makes the most sense based on, like, how the Mario movie was. Luigi's Mansion you could do, but like I feel like Donkey Kong would kind of like expand the world a lot more. Luigi's Mansion would kind of be like a cute little thing. I think you could do a movie on that, but that almost feels like you could do like a cute little Halloween 30-minute special or something.
Yeah.
And put it on ABC or something.
Heck yeah.
So, there is that. I know a lot of people have talked about like how a Smash Brothers movie wouldn't work. I feel like they could do something kind of cool, but it would have to be way later down the line. Yeah, I think Zelda live action could be very interesting. I do feel like just a traditional animated CGI or either traditional animation or CGI would work better for like what the vibe of Zelda is. But I also feel like they're doing live action because like Zelda has the potential to be like this massive $1 billion like Lord of the Rings kind of franchise,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Mario works perfectly for CGI. I think Zelda also works perfectly for CGI, but when it comes to like selling it to a mass market, I think live action works well. I think in the future there's potential that like Illumination could do like an animated Zelda movie, and then you have like animated Zelda and then live action Zelda with like I think Sony's doing Zelda. But yeah, I'm not like I think just the fact that they're doing like live action Zelda and animated Mario, I think that shows like they're not really planning out like this big Nintendo cinematic universe. I feel like they're probably going to do a Mario cinematic universe. So I'd probably say Donkey Kong makes the most sense. And Donkey Kong's like the oldest standing major Nintendo franchise. I think it makes sense. They built out the world a lot in that movie, so,
Yep. and everyone knows Donkey Kong. So that's like a good one to choose. My pick would probably be, I think I would go with the, Luigi's Mansion. I think I would go with that. Your little ABC 30-minute special. That would be great, Put it out October 30th. Luigi, I'm not sure what the story would be. I'll take it. Simple.
That's why it got to be a 30-minute special. You can just kind of wander around the mansion for 30 minutes and you're good.
Yeah.
90 minutes, I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what do you do during that time?
You can figure it out. The Luigi's Mansion 2 is like a 12-hour game, and
yeah,
you can pad that movie out like crazy.
For sure. I just feel like it wouldn't be a great. I mean, it would succeed in theaters, I guess, but ABC special. Come on, like, it works better there.
You could. I think they could do a lot of fun little shorts or something, especially based on like the different like franchise spin-offs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You do like a little Mario Tennis 30-minute special or something on Netflix.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. Paper Mario special.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Stuff. Yeah,
for sure.
I think that'd be cool.
Y'all better run. Asks Scott. We're kind of changing it up here. What's your favorite fast food place? This is the real question.
Oh boy. All right. Here's the thing. Most of the time, I'd say the place that I think is like the coolest place to go is usually Culver's. That place is pretty cool. I like that place.
What's Culver's?
Culver's is probably, I mean, it's not super regional. I think it's kind of generally around America. But there's some states where like there's only like one or two. But it's a pretty basic. I mean, like, you get burgers, you get chicken tenders, you get whatever.
It's fast food.
You can get onion rings and cheese curds. They're specifically about the cheese curds. I think they were formed in Wisconsin because they're big about their Wisconsin cheese curds. But they also do concrete mixers, just pretty much frozen custard. They're well known for their frozen custard, which is pretty much ice cream. And that stuff is awesome. So usually for a little dessert, a little meal, Culver's is awesome. I like Culver's a lot. In my area, they recently did, put in a couple of Culver's and also Raising Cane's, which is also pretty fun.
Yeah, that's good.
And, I haven't had a ton of Raising Cane's, but, like, it's all about the sauce there. Everything else is, like, it all falls apart if you don't have the sauce. That's just me, though. But just in general, man, like, most basic answer, answer that's like everywhere, probably Wendy's. I like Wendy's.
Wendy's is good.
Yeah, those are my big three. I'd say. Well, not even Raising Cane's. I wouldn't say Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is probably in like my top 10 somewhere. Mm-hmm. I'd say Culver's for more of a special funk. Yeah. But Wendy's for like all reliable, I think.
For sure. Wendy's is nice, juicy. Wendy's is good. It's classic. It's nice. Good fries too. Some places only have like the good fries, but meh burger, or the good burger and meh. Wendy's has a good balance. It's well balanced.
It's all pretty decent. Like I'm not a big McDonald's guy or a Burger King guy. Sure. Those are like, I just feel like when I eat those, like something feels a little wrong. Wendy's feels more like an actual meal. It's still fast food, but it feels more like, you are kind of fueling yourself.
Yeah.
That's just me though.
What's my answer is probably, if I can, it's probably a moderate speed fast food place. And I think I would have to go Five Guys. Five Guys is good. Five Guys is good. I got to get their junior burgers. Those burgers are too big for me. That's what's good, though. They like come in that little wrap,
I feel like
and they're all smushed.
I feel like I'm just a little like freak. I can't eat a full Five Guys burger. I gotta get the junior.
Have you had the fries though? That's where it's
fries,
at.
Yeah,
that's where it's
at. That's all you get at a Five Guys. Their bag is full of them.
I know.
Just dunk them all in there. Their hot dogs aren't bad either.
Yeah, those are
good. Those are good. It is expensive though. Like Five Guys is usually pretty up there in price. But I mean, it's decently worth it. I can only have them like once a quarter though, like yearly quarter. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like damn, like this is a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Five Guys, pretty good. Brian asks, what did the Wii U do right at the time, and what things did it also help Nintendo with in the future, in our opinion?
Well, the game library was decent. I had some misses, but a lot of the first party Nintendo games, I mean, like it pretty much formed like a good like third of the Switch's library of like games. The game library, you had a decent amount of like good stuff on there. Some great stuff, and a couple stinkers, but pretty good. I thought the gamepad was pretty okay. I like the gamepad. I like how it feels.
It's comfortable.
These days using it, I'm kind of like, I think it's aging a little bit. I feel like most gamepads, like the technology is kind of wearing a little bit, and I'm kind of noticing a little more like problems with it.
Flaws, yeah.
But back in the day, it worked fine. Like it always worked perfectly. Or at least like most of the time it worked perfectly. But yeah, I'd say the Wii U did a lot right when it came to like, I think Nintendo was like giving us pretty good deals back then too. Like, these days, like it's all about like, oh, Nintendo's prices are out of control. Back during the Wii U era, they were trying to give you a couple deals. They were trying to butter us up. Like it was only $60 for Twilight Princess HD plus the Amiibo. And I even got a soundtrack CD with my pre-order. So,
ooh,
there's
where was that from?
GameStop.
Ah, they are pretty good sometimes, huh?
They are, yeah, they are. But yeah, Wii U, I think it's down to the game lineup.
Yeah,
they did pretty good. They also introduced Nintendo Directs a lot during the Wii U era, and that they did a good job communicating with fans that way, I think.
My answer is basic. I mean, as everyone says, the Wii, how does it go? The Wii U walked so the Switch can run. I think it did a lot of things right. They were on the right track with the gamepad. Marketing was not. It just was. It wasn't.
Double Yoshi Exploshi. Remember that?
That's the best line. My favorite too that I still like go back to is just that like 4-minute commercial with those kids playing Smash Bros for the Wii U. That's bad too.
Oh yeah, and he looks at Mario's eyes, and Mario looks back.
Yeah,
at him,
he's like,
just like, okay.
That one's not great. Marketing was bad. Now it's like acceptable. Like it's not like outstanding. Like it's just like these people playing multiplayer Switch, and it works, but it's not like outstanding like to the average person. I feel it works though. But my main thing would be the whole gamepad thing. I think that was like they wanted to do the Switch without knowing how to do the Switch, and I think that was like the first, not like the first idea, but it's best put. The Wii U walked so the Switch can run. I think the gamepad was neat in that way.
Yeah, I would agree.
Indeed. Goatfish wants to know if you could travel back to any console era, which would it be? Even if you weren't alive, Scott, we can go there.
Even if I wasn't alive?
Like if it was, I'm not sure when you're more, if it was like NES era. Like 1981.
Oh, no. I wouldn't travel back to that.
Hypothetically, you could.
You know what? I travel back to the old GameCube days. Those were fun. Those are fun. I lived through that. I'll live through it again.
Yeah.
We'll see what goes on. Because like I wasn't paying attention that much during that time. So it's just like, you know what? I like to pay attention a little more.
Sure.
Maybe play more than just really bad licensed games for kids that I fill my library with. So yeah, I travel back there.
Sure. That's a good pick. I'd probably go Wii, just because something about that era. I mean, it was like the one I like kind of grew up in. GameCube, Wii, that kind of era. And I just feel like there were so many cool things that I missed out on, and it's hard for me to pick out what exactly, but a lot of cool things I feel like I missed out on, and I always like wished I was, maybe like 15 during that era, where I was like, I could consume things. I had my little laptop. I could go on the websites and look. I think that was a special era for whatever reason. Maybe it was boring in reality, but I wish I knew more back then.
Right. I think that's usually how it always goes, you know. It was always pretty interesting to look back at like when you weren't really paying attention. And, you know, you get the general vibe for how things were, but, you know, a lot of times you kind of feel like, oh, man, you kind of had to be there. But, you know what? I think you can kind of see, like, most people's reaction to whatever was going on and just kind of get the general vibe. You know,
Yep.
I think we're living in a pretty good time right now to be little Nintendo gremlins.
We are in a pretty good time. Switch 2 is coming soon. It's great. Samuel the Hedgehog asks, what menu design or feature, Miiverse, for example, would you like for the Switch 2 menu?
I like that Nintendo Switch Online app to have a purpose.
Yes, it's nothing right now.
You can do a lot with that thing. Just do something with it. I would like there to be more than just these weird little web pages. I'd like the eShop to be an actual eShop instead of just a web page that takes 20 seconds to load and it's incredibly laggy.
Yes.
Give that Switch Online app some purpose. You know, Street Pass is cool. Miiverse.
You a fan of that?
I mean, Miiverse is funny. I'll give it that. You know, I don't think we need it, but, you know, I think they took out Twitter integration a while back, or at least like a little bit ago. So,
yeah.
You know, I think to an extent, like, even if they just kind of like bring together all the social media posts, like, you know, everything sent out from a Switch, and then they just show you a list of like everything, and you can find like users that way. You know, maybe that way, you know, so then it's not like this is Nintendo social media. This is like a playlist of people posting on Facebook and Twitter or something from the Switch, so you can kind of see, you know, what people are saying and whatever, you know. You can make friends. Who knows? That's probably a little dangerous, but, you know. I think my answer, yeah. I'd just like there to be a better eShop, man.
Better eShop. Music, please, in the eShop would be great. I mean, as you said, a freaking purpose for the Switch Online app. We need something. I mean, you can get icons from there. Do you do any of that?
You know, sometimes I think about it, but it's not really a big priority to me. I just if I'm there, I'm there, and I just like messing around with it. But like, these apps are so laggy. Like, I just don't even want to deal with it.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff in this Switch Online app. Like, it shows you like whatever your birthday compared to like when these games released and whatnot. Like, I'm like, that's kind of cute, but I'm also like, oh.
It's neat.
Like, give me more of a reason to enter this other than just kind of to mess around. I don't know.
So yeah, I would go menu feature. I mean, like, eShop music. Listen, even if it was laggy, I want music, which probably wouldn't help the lag. It might even create it. But music, I would like. Miiverse, I would enjoy a Miiverse 2 or something. I know there were a lot of problems with it. You know, there were a bunch of posts from people saying like I'm lost in Target, or it's just like weird stuff. It was all cool though, so I'll take Miiverse, Street Pass, and eShop music. Just what made the thing charming is what I'll take. But
yeah.
Let me read here. Is that Mario23912 asks if second to last question, by the way. If a new 3D Mario or Zelda launches with Switch 2, what other Nintendo made game do you think will launch alongside it?
Oh yeah, probably Mario Kart. The next Mario Kart, I could imagine. You know, I mean, I think it'd be. I mean, I don't think a Zelda is launching with Switch 2, other than if they do like a Breath of the Wild remaster. You know,
Sure.
That could happen. That's a lame launch title. If that's like one of our only launch titles, like you're just no. It's cool. I think it would be cool. You know, especially like there's the whole rumor that like it was like a 60 FPS version of Breath of the Wild in 4K, like running on Switch 2. That's pretty cool. But you know, I think Mario Kart. It's been like 10 plus years since Mario Kart 8. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best-selling Switch game already, so it's kind of like, you know, I would say, but there is also Animal Crossing. You know, they wrapped up Splatoon 3, and that team does Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing was huge on Switch as well. You know, I think Mario Kart makes the most sense, though. I feel like launch with Mario Kart, and then 3D Mario later that year, maybe, you know. Maybe, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, but also, like, I don't know anything. It's probably not going to be that.
If a 3D Mario launches, like, what's like the secondary game? like 1-2 Switch was. I think it was more like that. Like,
there is how about a Nintendo Switch Sports follow-up that's just a version of like Wii Party. It's Nintendo Switch Party.
that would be great.
Like that. I don't know. Just something casual.
Little tech demo, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to enjoy. Or Ring Fit too, but then again, I think that's a little too gimmicky. I mean, not gimmicky, but more so like when you include another accessory at launch, I don't think they do that. I think they'd probably wait like a year to do a Ring Fit 2 or something. Especially with these new Joy-Con, they'd have to do a new Ring Fit game.
Yeah, they
especially
would.
with how successful did. So I think a Ring Fit 2 is a lock-in, but I think it would take a year at least for that to come out.
Yeah. My pick. So if a new 3D Mario or Zelda launches, what game would launch alongside? I think it's a tech demo of some sort. It's always that way. Nintendo Land, Wii Sports. Come on, 1-2 Switch. I think it will be something similar to Nintendo Land. I think because, you know, leaks are leaks, but there's leaks of the Switch 2 having a microphone, and maybe they're going to go back to wacky Nintendo. And I think that's a great way to show off your console features and have a tech demo and not have it be boring like a 1-2 Switch kind of thing. I think Nintendo Land is the way. And that's so fun. Do you ever?
Odama. You ever play Odama?
I have not.
On the GameCube?
No.
It's a pinball game published by Nintendo where it takes place in feudal Japan and you are commanding, I don't know. It used the GameCube microphone. That game has layer upon layer there. So I'm thinking if you're talking microphone, Odama.
You could do that as well, yeah.
You could, yeah. But Nintendo Land's more fun. I like Nintendo Land.
Just some sort of tech demo. Do you ever go back to Nintendo Land and like, wow,
yeah.
Like this is so much fun?
Yeah, Animal Crossing Sweet Day is great. Mario Chase used to be it, but like now it's kind of about Animal Crossing Sweet Day. That's kind of like that's the best one. And then like Luigi's Ghost Mansion is okay.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That one's okay. I mean it's good, but like, you know, like it usually goes like Animal Crossing Sweet Day is like the one right now. If we're gonna play Nintendo Land right now, I want to play the Animal Crossing game.
Do you play any of the Octopus game, like where you like dance with it or whatever?
I mean, I'll do it, but just kind of just to like if I'm feeling bad about myself, you know, like if I'm just I just want to do something a little weird.
Little funky. There you go.
Yeah.
Cosmic Cheese II, what a name by the way, asks our final question: which year of Nintendo was your absolute favorite? A lot of years.
Yeah, I think my answer would be 2013. You know, might be a little nostalgic here, because again, I was like 16. But you know, I look back at that era. You know, you look at like the 3DS and Wii U releases all combined, and you get pretty much like everything that year. I think the three main years for me in recent memory, I think were really good: 2013, 2017, and 2023. And 2023 was good, but like, you know, I mean, you got Zelda, Pikmin, and Mario.
The big three.
Yeah, you got the big three. Also like Metroid Prime Remastered. You got Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
WarioWare Shake It.
Yeah, and Mario RPG, which you know, I might have an unpopular opinion here, but it's a little boring to me, especially compared to like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and like Mario and Luigi coming out. Like I'm like, I'd probably prefer those, but I do think you look back at 2013. I mean, you get main 3D World, you get mainline Mario 3D World, you get mainline Zelda 2D Zelda Link Between Worlds, which is amazing. That game is awesome. Pokemon X and Y. You get Fire Emblem Awakening, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Mario and Luigi Dream Team, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, Lego City Undercover, Game & Wario, New Super Luigi U DLC. Mario Party Island Tour, hooray!
Heck yeah!
That year it just had nothing but like good quality stuff. 2017 was good too. I mean, you have Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. I mean, like those are two heavy hitters, but I think just overall quantity and quality wise, I think 2013 is my favorite. 2017 still had like quality and quantity, but a lot of their games still came out on 3DS that year. And there were some stinkers. Yeah, like Mario Sports Superstars. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Hey Pikmin, that's just fine. It's okay, I guess. Metroid Samus Returns, which is really cool, but also like I didn't want that on 3DS. So yeah, I'll pick 2013.
Sure. Was 2013 the year of Luigi, or was that 12?
Hell yeah, it was.
Oh, well, heck yeah! Let's
so it's
go.
Nintendo's worst year ever. That's my favorite year.
Dang. I wish I was like, I knew what was happening during that era. Like I was young. I was just
you don't, but it was a good year. It was a good year, but you don't want to know what happened that year.
I kind of want to know, but I guess not. So what do I pick? It's tough because I never really paid full attention to everything until 2022. Really, I mean, like I was always a fan. I was like watching the games that I wanted, like Smash, Mario Maker 2, Mario Maker 1 as well, Animal Crossing. I was always watching, but like I never really took in everything until 2 years ago. So I feel like it's going to be one of these past years, like these past 2 years. And I think I will land on, I think I have to go 2023. I think I have to, but I will put this in
recency bias, eh?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I can't really pick any other year because I don't know everything that happened in other years. I will say 2025. I think is going to be a really
Donkey
good
Kong
one.
Country Returns HD,
the best start to the year possible. Are you buying that, by the way?
Game.
Like that's just like
that game. That game is so good.
It's phenomenal, but
I don't care. I know it's a ripoff. I will eat that game up for dinner.
I will too. I guess. So
Tropical Freeze is great, but Returns is still awesome too. I like them both. So
both are good. Excited. After that, though, I imagine things will heat up. You got maybe a new 3D Mario. You got maybe, could you imagine Mario Kart 9 could come out next year because they want to have that early? Could happen. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Man. So I'd say 2023. We have not seen next year, but I feel like it'll be a good one. So we'll have to see what happens. But folks, that is it for the Mario Matter episode 110. Scott, thank you so much for your time, for coming on.
Having me.
Heck yeah, it was amazing. The floor is yours, my friend. Where can the people find you online? And do you have any upcoming projects or anything to tease? Any upcoming events? Any cool things to tell the people and promote? Let us know.
I'm just always working on videos, whether on my first channel, second channel, whatever. Yeah. So, it's just Scott the Waz everywhere, and then you can find whatever else I'm doing from there pretty much. Yeah, I'm just always working on stuff, so yeah, but thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. Yeah, of course. It's a great time. We'll have to have you back on in the future, maybe when Switch 2 drops. We'll see, who knows. But with that said, we'll see you all. I'll see you all. Sorry, not Scott will see you all soon on his channel and maybe on his podcast again. I'll see you all next Saturday for more. Thank you for listening. I'll see you then. 5 stars on the audio platforms, and adios.